Okay, so here's more no rules fights from Brazil. Not sure who's involved in these fights. I know that one there, that fellow, that's Ricardo Morai, who's like 6'8", you know? And he's a jiu-jitsu guy from Renzo Gracie. Very romantic. I don't know what year these happened, but I'm telling you, this isn't really so much mixed martial arts as it is truly no rules fights. It's just people getting together in what appears to be a gymnasium, and they put out some tatami mats and they just go to it, you know? What's really incredible is the crowd isn't actually on the gymnasium floor. I mean, I don't know if you had a chance to watch Pentagon Combat, but, you know, sort of indicative of the kind of, like, you know, setups that are sometimes happening. Here's a kung fu guy. He's going to do well. You can see he's, you know. Would you want to fight this guy? There's a 100% chance you're going to take him down, and then he's going to put his thumb in your eye. Or try to, anyway. You know? Yep. Everyone's showing off their goods, I guess. You know? You can tell this is not the cleanest copy of, you know. I got this years ago. People would, like, mail me VHS tapes, which were always copies of copies of copies, so to speak, you know. I got these before, I don't want to say it was before YouTube existed, but, like, it was kind of before YouTube existed, or at least before anybody knew about YouTube. You know what I mean? I remember people would email me a list of their tapes, and I would email them a list of my tapes, VHS tapes. And then we would have like an agreement, and I would send them copies, what they requested, and they would send me copies of what I requested, and you would get stuff like this, you know? And this guy, I guess, is maybe a kickboxer? I don't know. This guy seems slightly less wild looking than that other dude, but yep, can make sure you're all properly stretched out before the fights. Is he sitting on a steel mesh floor? Oh. He's going to interview everybody. Here, let's just fast forward to the fights. Here we go. Let's just go past this bit here. Okay, talking to you, talking to this crazy dude. Talk to this guy, maybe a boxer. Talk to this wild-haired cat. No idea. Oh, man. Look at this guy. That guy's got a haircut, doesn't he? Jesus. Let's get past him. There you go. That's Ricardo Morai. He's just sitting there chilling out. You know? Everyone's just chillaxing. Muay Thai, maybe? I don't know. Boxing? That guy's definitely got some boxing going on. Do 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 do. Here we go. Here we go. The announcer. People gathered in the venue to watch a bunch of no rules fights. Man, can you imagine what it's like being there? I mean, I was at a couple of jiu-jitsu events down in Brazil, and a couple of mixed martial arts events, actually. Actually, now that I think of it, the mixed martial arts events that I visited were a lot more controlled than the jiu-jitsu ones. Maybe people had less of an emotional connection to the fighters, you know what I mean? Because at a jiu-jitsu event, you're like there to watch people you know. MMA, it's just like you're paying to watch some guys that maybe you don't. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know. My point is, this is probably kind of a wild event. This is maybe the jiu-jitsu guys. I don't know. Here we go. I think this is some of the footage that made its way into those Gracie in action tapes. I think this is like maybe I don't say the raw footage, but maybe it's the raw footage. I don't know. Here we go. I think this is a jiu-jitsu guy, actually, with the blue and white pants on. The other guy, I mean, clearly has his hands all taped up. He's wearing gloves or something. I believe the fellow there on the left is a jiu-jitsu guy, and the fellow on the right is a striker of some kind. You can see his hands are kind of taped up. And as you can see, this isn't the highest quality VHS tape, you know? This is back when, kind of before YouTube existed, people would send me VHS tapes in the mail that were like, it was a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy, you know? And I, to thank them, would send them a copy of a copy of a copy of something that was mine, you know? So I'm pretty sure the guy here on the left is a jiu-jitsu guy. There he shoots in, see? Down the guy goes. I'm thinking this is jiu-jitsu versus maybe Muay Thai. I'm not sure. Oh, he's got his back kind of, or trying to. And bear in mind, this is not really so much a mixed martial arts fight as it is like a no-rules fight, you know? And you can see the jiu-jitsu guy is trying to keep him on his feet. Or I mean, sort of take him off his feet and take him to the ground. He's elbowing him. And there's no fence. So there's just some tatami mats on like a gymnasium floor. Oh, he's mounted. And now the whole, you know, ground and pound thing. But when I say ground and pound, usually people think they're within the guard, you know. He goes off the mat. He's choking him here. You know? I think this is... Oh, he's trying to punch him. I don't think I've ever seen anybody successfully punch their way out of a rear naked choke. Usually if they're on you, if the fist gets put on, that's kind of the end. See, there you go, as he's tapping out and thrashing and stuff. All right. So that's 1 for jiu-jitsu and 0 for the other, whatever that was. You know? That guy. I think that might have been Muay Thai. I think I saw a number there that said this was happening in 1992, I think. On the bottom left. Does that guy spreading his arms like in disbelief, like he's not sure what happened? It's like, how did that guy win? He took my back and choked me and I tapped. How does that make him the winner? Whatever. Whatever. Let's go on to the next one. Oh. I heard somebody say luta livre, which means free fighting. Luta livre is kind of like, well, it's no rules free fighting, you know? I think this may be... Did he say jiu-jitsu? Maybe. That guy's... He's got the jiu-jitsu thing in his shirt, the whole shield lightning bolt thing. I don't know what that... You know, back in the day, the logo for the Jiu-Jitsu Federation was a shield with kind of like a lightning bolt across it. That was like the CBJJ, a Certificação Brasileiro Jiu-Jitsu or something like that, you know? So this one might be Luta Livre versus Jiu-Jitsu, I think. You know, when the guy sent me the VHS tape, he didn't send me the, you know, the flyer for the event. It was just, you know, it is what it is. So here's going to be, this is a no-rules fight between Jiu-Jitsu here on the right, and I think Luta Livre, the fellow there in the black and white shorts, I think. Oh, look at that. He's trying to take down the Jiu-Jitsu guy who's looking for maybe a guillotine choke, maybe? Fascinating. Oh, he's on top. That's not good for the guy on the bottom. Unleashing some punches from the mount. Oh, back on the bottom again, using his closed guard to protect himself or whatever. Lunacy. Oh, he's back on top again. This is like a fight from a Star Trek episode. They're just rolling around. Nobody's really getting swept. They're just kind of... Oh, he's using the old kicks from the bottom thing. Look at that. What is happening? Lunacy. Like I said, it's not really sweeps. It's just people who are kind of like rolling around. Oh, there's the referee's going to put them back on the mat because there's no cage wall. There's no ropes. There's none of that stuff. It's just some old judo tatami mats on a gymnasium floor. Oh, he's trying to choke him with a forearm. Oh, he's tapping out to the forearm across the neck. Look at that. Is he trying to kick him while he stands up? These guys are hot-blooded. Are they going to shake hands now? I don't know. See? Mixed martial arts does not look like this anymore. You know? For one thing, the quality of the footage is much better. This is all grainy, you know? Grainy garbage, you know? But it's very educational. I tell you, back in the day, I would get these in the mail and I would pop them in the old, you know, VCR, VHS player, what have you, and they were very educational. Because at the time, this was like, you know, was stuff nobody had seen it before. You know, it was like watching a unicorn fight a dragon. It was something that no one had ever seen before. And it was very educational in terms of like just the lunacy of what a real fight is like, or a real, you know, no rules fight anyway. You know, back at the time, I mean, I would watch Steven Seagal movies and I would think those were a good representation of what a real fight, you know what I mean? I was a big fan of Steven Seagal back in the late 80s, very early 90s. I thought those fights, those were like very, you know, like, okay, this guy's showing what a real fight looks like, you know? But maybe not, you know? Then you get these. I think this is the jiu-jitsu guy. I wonder if in this event, if the jiu-jitsu guys all wore the blue with the white along the side. The guy he's fighting over there with the long pants, that's for sure some kind of striker. You know, no grappler is going to wear, oh, here's the crowd. Some people sitting in the audience. Hello there, everyone. You know? You can see by the way he's bouncing and stuff. That's for sure on the left, that's for sure a striker. The way he's standing. And the guy on the right here with the blue and the white, that's for sure a jiu-jitsu guy, the way he's standing. This is going to be a big double leg takedown in a moment. There it is. Boom. Yep. And you can see the guy in his back has no idea what to do now. Yep. And bear in mind, as a grappler, there's a huge difference between grappling someone else who's also, you know, knows a little bit about grappling, and then grappling someone who has no idea about grappling and they're just a striker, you know? And they're looking for strikes, you know? I remember years ago I was wrestling with this one guy who like put the tip of his elbow, I was side controlling like this guy, and the guy put the tip of his elbow down into the side of my head. And I was like, bye. And that had never happened to me before. I was like, holy smokes. It was the other time I was grappling a guy, and his knee came flying up and hit me in the nose. You know? Maybe when my nose is slightly, you know, whatever. And I was like, holy Jesus. And that had never happened to me before because I'd been grappling as grapplers. Look at this. Ground and pound. Take that. You and your sassy pants. You know? Anyway. Yep. Yep. Another win for jiu-jitsu. This is from a time before mixed martial arts was mixed martial arts. You know what I mean? It was more style versus style. And so the guy that was like 100% jiu-jitsu, obviously he's going to win against a guy that's like 100% kickboxing and has never defended a takedown before in his life. You know? But now, or, years later, suddenly you have a jiu-jitsu guy that knows a little bit of striking versus a striker that knows a little bit of jiu-jitsu, and maybe he's got like a pretty good takedown defense, like, say, I don't know, Maurice Smith, or, one of those guys that was fighting in like the UFCs, like UFC like 10 to 20. Oh, Lord, look at this guy. And I'm telling you, a high-level striker who knows a little bit how to defend takedowns, that is a dangerous opponent. That's a very dangerous opponent. Look at this guy. Lord, this is a dangerous opponent. He's already jumping around, throwing kicks and stuff. They're telling him where to... Good Lord, what is this guy on? They have to take him by the hand and show him where he's going to be fighting. This is the kind of guy where, like, as a referee, you're like, this is not going to go well. Like, perhaps the greatest fighter of all time, Fedor Emelianenko, talked about how important it is to remain calm in order to, like, keep your head on straight and stuff. And look at this guy. Well, not the jiu-jitsu guy, but the guy we were just looking at. Was he calm in any way? No. He's got, he's got a bee in his bonnet, as I like to say sometimes, Anyway. Totally insane. Who do you think's going to win? The jiu-jitsu guy or the dude who's like, on PCP, full of meth or who knows what, I'm going to be leaning towards the jiu-jitsu guy. Maybe I'm biased. I don't know. Here we go. There might be a takedown in the immediate future. Just maybe. The guy in the black pants over there, I'm thinking maybe he's Kung Fu, maybe? I don't think he's Muay Thai. I don't think he's kickboxing. I'm thinking he's Kung Fu, possibly? Because he's got that, I don't know. He seems like he's the keeper of spiritual energy or something, you know what I mean? And there, here he's on the bottom, he's mounted, he's getting pounded on. He's got the rear naked on, the guy's tapping. And that is that, And now the jiu-jitsu guy wants to go after him again. He's like, let's go, bro. Let's do it again, I don't know. I feel kind of bad for these guys who don't know. You know what I mean? They're just kind of clueless, and they've been filled with lies, And then they get into things like this, and stuff just goes off the rails for them, Like, there's footage online of, like, people that, like, they've been living years in this little weird world of... And then they get in a real fight like this, and they truly believe they are the keepers of spiritual energy, and they're going to manipulate your chi and, poison your whatever. But I mean, and you see someone punch them in the face and take them down and choke them, and it's just like their eyes are just like, oh my God, I've been living in a world of lies for, my entire adult life. I had an encounter like that with a guy years ago in a movie theater. Maybe I'll upload that or tell the story about that some time ago, Yep. All right, what's next? Here we go. Another jiu-jitsu versus crazy dude. Well, this one says luta libre, so maybe it's a freestyle fighter. I mean, because that's what luta libre means. Luta is... I think luta is fighting and libre is free, so it's like free fighting. But then again, the term free fighting can mean almost anything, There was some of them, I think, that came from sort of more of a submission wrestling background, like Hugo Duarte and Eugenio Tadao and a few other guys. And then who knows, maybe there's some guys who call themselves luta libre fighters and are secretly kung fu, or secretly just crazy dudes that think they're going to manipulate somebody's chi or something, you know what I mean? Yep. As crazy as it sounds, it reminds me of the science versus religion argument. You know what I mean? Faith versus, science, so to speak. And one of the things about jiu-jitsu that is noteworthy is people test their theories. They're like, okay, a double leg, this, that, what have you, ground and pound, mount, armbar, Then there's other martial arts that probably still exist where it's just all still theory, And when then they come to something like this, and oh man, it doesn't work out for them. And like I said, years ago, I was sitting in a movie theater and there was a guy beside me and he and I got into it a bit. We didn't actually physically fight, but whatever. Maybe I'll upload that story to you sometime, I call that one the Kung Fool, Maybe I'll upload that one as another amusing anecdote, Is that referee wearing a hat? You're in like a serious, event when the referee's wearing a baseball hat, and his shirt has no sleeves. Well, the guy in the white shorts, at least he has the common sense to kind of fake a shot before he, fake a punch before he tries it. You know what I mean? But he gets taken down. He gets mounted. This is like some other fights we've seen previously, isn't it? He's getting punched. I'm telling you, if these are Lucha Libre fighters on the bottom, it's not a good day for Lucha Libre. Maybe that's just an expression they're using. Like I said, I don't know. Yep. Another win for jiu-jitsu. Is that guy wearing... Is the jiu-jitsu guy wearing shoes and like ankle warmers? He's clearly got something on his feet. Is he wearing shoes and like ankle warmers? That seems strange. Well, whatever. At least, no, they're shaking hands. At least there's some, whatever. Sportsmanship, that's important, Lunacy. Victory. They were just introducing this guy. I don't know. I couldn't quite make out what they were saying. I'm guessing this is not a jiu-jitsu guy, based on the way he's dressed and, frankly, the way he's walking. Once you've been around something for a while, you can kind of tell what a person's bringing to the table just by the way they, by what they're wearing and the way they're walking, Just their, sounds crazy, but if you've been around, you know what I mean. You just have a look at them and you're like, yeah, that guy's got nothing. Or, oh, Jesus, that's a goddamn panther right there. Oh, there's Ricardo Morai. Who's this cat? Yeah, I think this is the jiu-jitsu guy. This is Ricardo Morai. He's like 6'8", like 280. I put up another fight with him fighting in Pentagon Combat. This one might have been before that. This cat later goes on. He fights in Russia against Mikhail Ilkoin, I believe. I have that one too. I'll upload that one later. But, I haven't watched this in a while, but I'm going to go ahead and guess it doesn't go so well for the guy on the left in the black shorts, who I don't think knows any jiu-jitsu. And now he's fighting a guy who's way bigger than him and has been training a lot of jiu-jitsu with real monsters, and he himself is clearly a total monster. And there's a reason why they didn't draft this guy to go in, Ricardo Morai, in the first UFC and clean everybody's clock with jiu-jitsu, because that wouldn't be a good sales, for jiu-jitsu. It's just, here we go. Oh, look at that. Almost, you look at this, he's punching him. It almost seems silly for a guy this size. I bet you if this was just a striking battle, the guy in the blue shorts would win, just by his sheer size. What do I know? I'm not a striker, but you can tell he's unloading there. Oh, look at that. Boom. Nice. Just picking that guy up and slamming him against the ground, Don't you know slamming is illegal under IBJJF rules? I'm just kidding, of course. This is not, there's no rules here. It's no rules fights, Big guy's looking for a north-south choke there. Didn't you see the earlier fights? Just mount him and beat him senseless. Going for north-south chokes. Look at that. The guy's trying to get away, and the guy has to sweep him back to the bottom again. Yep. There you go. Taking his back, putting on the choke. And there, he doesn't even really have it. Doesn't have his hands locked properly. That's interesting. Well, look at this, 14:08:92. So I guess this is August 14th of 1992. So does that make this just before the first UFC? I think it does. There you go. He's mounted. He's pounding away. You know, people often forget how in a real fight, mount is a thing. It's a heck of a thing because the guy on the top, he can unload, and the dude in the bottom, he can't throw punches back upwards again because the floor is in the way, and there's this thing called gravity. And look at this guy. He's just laying there like a pulverized piece of meat, you know? And whatever. I mean, you have to admire bravery, but Jesus. I feel bad sometimes for people that go into fights like this, and they just don't even know what they're getting into. Or at least maybe now they do, but back in the day, they had no clue. You know? This guy was probably a kickboxer or something. You know, he didn't seem as insane as the other dude, you know? But still, you feel kind of bad for them, you know? Did he even know who his opponent was going to be? It's like, oh, hey, you're going to fight a guy that's 6'8" and 290 and stuff? Anyway, I think those are all the fights. You know? You know? There's Ricardo Morai. And again, this VHS tape, this is a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. So who knows how many times this got copied before it ended up getting sent to me, you know? Now they're going to ask this guy. Maybe that's his coach? I don't know. At least this one didn't end in a riot, you know? So, there you go. Yep. See you later. Oh.